Sarajevo, Sunday the 28th of June 1914. Morning haze lifts above the soft green ridges of Bosnia, and the Miljacka River glitters like a ribbon of mirrors beneath full limestone bridges. Cathedral bells mingle with a muezzin's call, streetcars ring on iron tracks, and a brass band warms up outside the Austro-Hungarian barracks. The city today hosts royalty. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to a 600-year dynasty, has come to inspect troops and reassure restless provinces that Vienna still governs the empire's patchwork of languages and loyalties. He rides in an open touring car beside his wife, Duchess Sophie Chotek, an arranged parade of modern machinery and medieval monarchy rolling past Ottoman storefronts and Habsburg gables. Watching from the sidewalks are 7 thin-faced young men, most under 24, all members of Mlada Bosna, Young Bosnia, a secret network that dreams of uniting South Slavs under a single state, free of Austrian rule. Some are Bosnian Serbs, others Bosnian Muslims. What unites them is tuberculosis in their lungs, literature in their pockets, and cyanide pills sewn into jacket hems because they do not expect to outlive lunchtime. In their coat linings, 4 FN model pistols, 6 cast iron bombs, 1 fragile strategy. Line the route, strike at will, accept capture or death. They do not expect success, they hope for symbolism. At 10:10 a.m. the motorcade of 6 vehicles glides along the Apple Quay. First assassin, Mehmed Bey, stationed near the police station, freezes as 2 uniformed officers step toward the curb. He lets the car pass, palms sweating. 40 meters downstream stands Nedeljko Abranovi. He wins back his arm and hurls a bomb. The Archduke's chauffeur glimpses a black object hurtling through the air and instinctively accelerates. The explosive bounces off the folded roof and lands beneath the next car. A blast of smoke and metal shards rends the morning calm, wounding a dozen bystanders and 2 officers in the following vehicle. Shocked crowds scatter. The promenade echoes with screams and shattered glass. The Archduke's driver pushes to top speed, racing toward City Hall. Abranovi swallows his cyanide capsule and leaps into the river, hoping chemicals and current will erase him. The river is barely waist-deep in summer, the cyanide is old and only induces vomiting. Police fish him out like a wet cat, beat him with rifle stocks, and drag him away. Somewhere in the chaos 2 other conspirators falter, pistols holstered, hope smothered by commotion. Inside the ornate pseudo-Moorish City Hall, Mayor Potiorek begins a perfumed welcome speech, extolling imperial benevolence. Franz Ferdinand cuts him off. "Mr. Mayor, I come here on a visit and bombs are thrown at me. It is outrageous." The remark hangs in the marbled atrium, mixing awkwardly with chandelier light. Yet the Archduke's irritation cools. He decides to visit the wounded officers in hospital. The route is hastily redrawn, back along the quay, then a sharp right up Franz Joseph Street. No one remembers to notify the lead chauffeur. At 10:45 a.m. the royal car returns down the Apple Quay. The driver prepares to make the wrong turn as originally planned. General Potiorek shouts from the back seat, "Not this way. This is the wrong route." The chauffeur slams the brakes, shifts into reverse, and stalls. Metal gears clank. The motorcar rolls to an awkward halt directly in front of Moritz Schiller's Delicatessen, where 20-year-old Gavrilo Princip, the last conspirator with a loaded weapon, has just purchased a sandwich and is cursing missed chances. Fate turns the vehicle into a stationary target at arm's length. Princip drops the sandwich, steps forward, and fires 2 shots. One bullet enters Duchess Sophie's abdomen, the other punctures the Archduke's jugular. Sophie cries, "For God's sake, what has happened to you?" Franz Ferdinand, bleeding into his tunic, whispers, "Sopherl, don't die. Live for our children." Within minutes both are unconscious. By 11 o'clock they are dead. The imperial motorcar, white upholstery now splattered crimson, jolts toward the governor's residence too late for any surgeon. Telegraph wires thrum. Within hours Vienna newspapers blare murder in Sarajevo. Court ministers blame Serbian intrigue. True, The pistols and bombs came courtesy of a clandestine wing of Serbian military intelligence, but the Belgrade government itself is unaware. The nuance evaporates in grief and outrage. Emperor Franz Joseph, aged and weary, mutters, "A higher power has restored order," perhaps secretly relieved that an obstinate heir is gone. His generals, however, see opportunity, punish Serbia, stifle nationalism, salvage prestige before the multi-ethnic empire unravels. On the 5th of July, Austrian envoys confer with Kaiser Wilhelm II at Potsdam. The Kaiser offers a blank check, full German support for whatever Austria decides. Berlin assumes Russia, protector of the Slavs, will huff but stay neutral. Better to settle Balkan frustrations than appear weak to domestic hawks. Diplomats chalk up contingencies on chalkboards, train timetables whisper under their breath. 23 July. Vienna delivers a telegrammatic ultimatum to Belgrade: suppress anti-Austrian organizations, remove unfriendly officers from the army, and permit Austro-Hungarian officials to participate in investigations on Serbian soil. The demands intentionally scrape Serbian sovereignty raw. Serbia accepts nearly every term but balks at foreign police operating in its courts. Vienna finds the refusal sufficient for war. Tsar Nicholas II feels his dynasty's credibility trembling. On the 29th of July, he orders partial mobilization against Austria. German Foreign Minister Jago warns that any Russian move means war with Germany. Ambassadors race between embassies, scribbling memos faster than ink can dry. Telegrams, encoded and re-encoded, cross Europe while cafe patrons sip absinthe unaware their currencies are already mortgaged to artillery. 30 July. Russia escalates to full mobilization. Wilhelm II sends a personal telegram to Nicholas: "We have both been driven into it by our peoples." No withdrawal comes. On the 1st of August, Germany declares war on Russia and begins her mobilization timetable. Trains must move east at once or risk months of chaos on single-track rail. France, bound to Russia, prepares for conflict. Britain watches warily, debating whether continental entanglement or Belgian neutrality will force her hand. August 3rd, Germany declares war on France and activates the Schlieffen Plan: swing through neutral Belgium, crush Paris in 42 days, pivot east before Russian legions gather mass. German troops cross the Meuse. Belgian forts roar back. Britain, guarantor of Belgian neutrality, delivers an ultimatum ignored by Berlin. At midnight, London declares war. The dominoes of alliance, forged to prevent isolation, lock politicians into decisions faster than they can question them. Within a week, the world's 5 great powers stand mobilized. Field graze beneath marching boots, horses drink riverbeds dry, factories swing to 3 shifts for shell production. By Christmas, trenches will scar Flanders, and soldiers will swap carols across barbed wire, stunned that politicians promised a short war. Why did 2 bullets ignite global conflict? Because 1914's Europe was a powder magazine. Arms races had hardened strategies into railway timetables. Secret treaties promised automatic aid. Ethnic nationalism vibrated under imperial blankets. Each decision-maker believed hesitation meant doom, so action spiraled faster than remorse. The cost will be 16 million dead, empires dethroned: Habsburg, Romanov, Hohenzollern, Ottoman, all toppled in the strain. Borders from Baghdad to the Baltic will shift. New ideologies will germinate in trench mud: Bolshevism, fascism, modernist art. At Versailles, vindictive clauses sow resentment that will sprout in 1939. Gavrilo Princip, too frail for prison labor, will die of tuberculosis in an Austrian fortress hospital in 1918, unaware that millions share his cough. The pistol he used, an FN 1910, serial number 19074, sits today behind bulletproof glass in Vienna's Museum of Military History, its bluing worn to dull silver where a nervous hand once clutched destiny. Stand on Sarajevo's Latin Bridge today and you see engraved footprints marking Princip's stance. Nearby kiosks sell postcards of newspapers screaming war declared. Tourists snap selfies while city trams rumble behind them. modern wires strung over cobblestones that once drank imperial blood before lunch. Empire after empire has discovered that alliances can both deter and shackle. 2 world wars, a Cold War, and endless regional pacts later, historians still study the July crisis as a case study in miscalculation, proof that a single wrong turn can set treaties ablaze faster than leaders can douse them. Who pulls a trigger may fill headlines, yet it is the machinery waiting behind the trigger that writes the age. Sarajevo is the hinge, the treaty system, the creaking door. If you want to know why high-speed rail schedules include contingencies for sabotage, or why security summits fret over flashpoints named Taiwan or Kaliningrad, look back to a summer morning in 1914 when a stalled motorcar gifted history 2 bullets and a domino run. Turn the hourglass and subscribe. Each week we chase another second in which the world flipped like a coin, and show why the echoes are still ricocheting through our headlines today.